Today we're going to dive deep into three separate categories of what happens when you go too deep into the tax minimization world. The discussion we're having today is using the available legal avenues that can allow you to reduce your tax liability with losing no sleep whatsoever. This can range from, investing in tax advantage accounts to things like deductions, really understanding deductions, complex strategies like, what is a deduction? What is a credit, right? How do should I be investing in things that are going to give me credits? And of course, a popular one is income shifting, right? When do I want to just kind of pull the plug on this year in terms of receiving income and move it over to the next year? Well, minimizing taxes is definitely a goal, especially for small business owners. But the truth is, even, large, giant business owners, the focus is, how do we keep more of our tax dollars on this side, right? Because it's going to help us to hire more people. It's going to help us implement more technology. And of course, this is all in the formula of scaling, right? So while it is a common financial goal, doing it aggressively, it does push the envelope of tax planning, and it walks the fine line between legal and potentially something that's going to bring a lot of scrutiny to you, right? So why do individuals and, business, whether you're an S Corp, a C Corp, partnership, why do we pursue aggressive tax minimizations? And the reality is this, and the reasons are quite obvious, quite compelling in most circumstances. And one of them is, we already talked about, is increased cash flow. By reducing tax liability, we know that instead of our money going out to Uncle Sam or the state taxation agency where you're at, we're going to have those funds stay in our bank accounts, and we're going to be able to use them for, investments, savings, and a whole bunch of other things like technology and hiring more people in terms of our overall growth strategy plan, right? And of course, listen, number two, the more money we keep over a period of time, we're going to be able to accumulate more wealth, right? So now we're talking about generating more wealth 3, 5, 10 years from now. We're going to be able to accumulate a lot more wealth because we're saving money, right? And hopefully we are putting, those funds into other vehicles that are giving us a much bigger return than obviously when the monies are gone and out of our bank accounts. And number three, it's a competitive advantage, right? For business owners, lower taxes mean more resources, right? You're going to be able to expand more. If you're a company that's deep into, R&D, research and development, these are all things that, that's money that you're going to be able to feed into your business to get things, off the ground or just scaling faster. And so these are three things that are really a big reason why this aggressive tax minimization is so popular and so many people talk about it. So we know that these benefits, right, they sound really good. They're very, very attractive, but it's not without understanding that there are many shades of gray when we get into the world of, aggressive tax minimization. We also have to consider the downfalls of aggressive tax minimization. So now let's just switch gears and talk about those pitfalls that we need to keep in mind. And let's start with number one, legal and financial risks. The line between aggressive tax planning and evasion can be very, very thin, guys. And not to bring this up again, but we see what's going on when somebody inflates or allegedly, right, inflates their numbers on an application, whether it's a tax return, a loan, buying a building. This stuff is a big, big deal, right? And things like this are, what leads to, unfortunately, audits. And on top of audits, right, if you don't get the outcome that you want, you're paying penalties. And depending on how just aggressive, right, did you just wipe out the entire line, maybe even criminal charges, right? And then if it gets to that point, another consequence, right, a pitfall of that is our reputation, right? Maybe our reputation amongst our peers, but also the reputation, within our organization, our employees. They can see the stress that you might have, right? So it begins to maybe, raise a question around your organization. Are we in a good spot, right? Do we have leadership? Do we have good integrity? So these are really big, important things to understand when you're starting to get into that world of taxes and how can I save the most maximum taxes without hurting, individuals or your corporation's image. That's very, very important. Let's talk about complexity and costs. Implementing aggressive strategies often require experts. You need to hire people that really understand. You can't just get somebody that says, hey, do this and do that and write some checks back and forth and you're going to be A-okay. No, you need to really hire professionals that understand the strategies and are going to give you the expert advice to understand what you're trying to accomplish. That is so clear, because if it's just, I want to save, $10, $100, $1,000, $100,000, guys, that's not enough. There has to be, what is it about the 100,000? What are you trying to accomplish in your business or personally that you need to, consult with your advisor? And of course, listen, things like this, depending on where you're at in your business, this can be very costly and complex to manage. It becomes a team effort. And by no stretch of the imagination will you hire a professional and say, listen, I want you to put a tax plan together that's just going to crush my taxes down. I want to see a big zero at the end of the year. It takes two. It takes the advisor to understand, where you're at, what you want to accomplish. And then it takes you to participate in those strategies, right, that need to be implemented, right? Because an advisor can't go into your business and do the things. We can outline, schedule what needs to happen, what needs to get done, but you need to outlay the plan, right? You need to actually carry out the plan internally, whether that's by yourself if you're a one-man team, or, if you got multiple people, you got to bring them into the loop as to what's happening, because this is definitely a team sport. There's another critical aspect that we need to consider, and that's the impact on financing opportunities. And this is really a big one, especially if you're a young company, right? And you're still in the process of growing. You need equipment. Maybe you want to buy a building, something like that. We need financing, guys. And, it'd be great if we had all the money in the world in our pockets. And even if we did, most of us want to use the banker's money. So what we have to understand is when we go into this rabbit hole of, tax minimization, and we're in a tunnel vision that all we want to see is zero taxes. We want to pay as little as possible. That's very short term, right? We got to look into the future and say, where is my company going? Am I going to hire more people? Do I need more dollars for that? Do I need to, retool my facilities? Do I need equipment, right? Have I, outgrown my building? Do I need more capital for that? Who do we need? We need the banker, right? So we have to understand that financial institutions often rely on tax returns to be able to assess your credit worthiness, right? Because the bank's going to say, listen, you're buying $100,000 worth of equipment. Mr. Business owner, you're spending $10,000 as a down payment, but we're giving you 90%, $90,000 of it. We want to make sure that you have the ability to pay that back. So aggressive tax minimization can result in lower reported income, which may deter lenders from offering you financing because there's just no cash flow available, right? If you're just saying, listen, I've expensed all my income to zero, well, how can you possibly get into debt? How can you possibly ask the banker to give you any more money when they see that there's no ability, obviously, to pay? And number two, listen, challenges in improving financial health. For businesses, especially the ability to secure loans like we're talking about, attract investors. Sometimes we want to bring in partners, right? Sometimes we're at a point in our business where this is a big one. When we're doing the reverse, now we want to exit, right? We've had our businesses for, X amount of years. We're in our retirement stage, and a deduction and showing zero profits is not very good for your pocket. When you present these tax returns to a buyer, they're going to look at your net earnings. They're going to say, your net earnings are zero. Why would I give you anything more than zero? So there's a lot of future planning. And that's why I said earlier that sometimes we're very short term, right? In terms of, I don't want to pay taxes this year. I don't want to pay taxes next year. We got to look into, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 years and see where we're at. Some years, definitely, it makes just absolutely the smart decision to minimize taxes, but not always. What you have to understand is lenders and, potential investors, they are all going to scrutinize your financial statements and your tax returns. They want to gauge your profitability and stability. It's not just a matter of, I've been in business for 10 years and here I am and I'm going to be another 10 years. Fantastic. Congratulations. But remember, we're asking somebody for money and they want to see some kind of performance, guys, and sustainable performance. So aggressively minimize taxes might really distort the real picture, right? You might have a great company that's just, it's knocking it out of the park. Revenues are growing 20, 30% or more. And with that, we should see maybe an increase on your net earnings of 50, 60, 70, 80%. But if it keeps being zero or something close to that, flat, investors, bankers, anybody who's looking at it, they're going to question the financial health, right? They're going to be very skeptical about the true worth of your business and even the sustainability, right, of you being able to continue moving forward. So again, there's a time and a place for tax minimization. And there's a time and a place where we might want to show as much income as possible, depending on where we are in our journey in our business and in our personal life, guys. So keep that in mind when you're having discussions with your financial advisors. The question should be, what does 12 months look like for you? What does 24 months look like for you? When you start having those powerful questions, you're going to realize the importance of having good numbers, healthy numbers, and you're actually going to feel pretty good when you do have to write some of the bigger checks that we don't want to for taxes. You're going to feel much better about it because you understand that it's a path, right? It's a gateway to the next level. And once you secure that, right? Once you secure that building, then listen, we can shut it down, right? We can just say, boom, we're going to lock it down because I don't see myself needing equipment or anything else in the next couple of years. So we start recuperating some of that money with good, healthy, legal tax planning throughout the year, guys. That's what it's going to take. So listen, it's evident that while aggressive tax minimization can offer short-term financial benefits, the potential long-term consequences on financing opportunities can't be overlooked. This underscores the importance of a balanced approach to tax planning, one that considers both, the immediate tax savings. Hey, tight on cash. I need to keep my cash. I need to put, tax minimization. Whether there's a lot, middle, or aggressive, that's when we just go all the way on that. And then the broader implications that we have to look at, right? Maybe we don't need cash flow. Our companies are healthy. We got a healthy balance sheet, and we need to grow. We're scaling. We need help from the banker. We need help from a strategic partner. Maybe we're going to sell a portion of our company because we need somebody else's talent. That all requires money. It requires good numbers. It requires good financial statements, and it requires good tax returns. So listen, in light of these considerations, it's become more crucial to engage in responsible tax planning. And that's why tax planning, guys, I want you to start thinking about this. It is a 12-month process. It's kind of like we're doing a tax return. You should think about it this way. Every month, there's a tax return being done, right? Your financials are getting done. You're looking at, did I make money? Did I lose money? How effective was I? How efficient was I? What are the opportunities internally in terms of management for me to, increase cash flow by, reducing expenses, right? This is responsible tax planning. It's not doing it in the fourth quarter. It's definitely not doing it in January, right, of the following year. So this involves not only leveraging tax savings opportunities, but doing so in a manner that maintains the integrity of your financial statements and supports your overall financial goals. We got to be looking at that window, right? What's that 12-month goal, 24-month goal? And when we have those in front of us, it makes it really easy, actually, to make the right decisions. Here's another thing that you want to make sure, right? You want to ensure that your tax minimization strategies do not get in the way of your true financial performance of your business. Transparency with financial reporting can build trust with your lenders and your investors. Remember, today, while we're small, we can say, I can do this on my own. I'm doing it. But when we start getting the thought and the idea that I want to go from, 500,000 to 2 million, 2 million to 7 million, we're talking about exponential growth. We have to understand that we need to build trust in our community with the people that know about our product, they know about our services, right? And those are going to be, lenders and other investors that they're paying attention because these people are looking. Lenders want to give you money. Lenders want to give you money. They make money when they give it to you. When a lender keeps money on their balance sheet, it's actually a negative for them, guys. So they want to give money to people that can pay it back. They want to give money to people that can use that money to grow, because when you pay the lender back, they gave you 100,000. Now they're going to give you 500,000, guys. Keep all of that in mind. So strategic planning, listen, this works with tax professionals. You need a good one to develop the strategies that are going to optimize savings while still reflect the economic reality of your income and your business operations. So again, we can't say that we got this crazy thriving company and somehow it lost money. Somehow it just made $1, right? There has to be reality to what we're doing so that everything makes sense. And again, remember, it's that scrutiny that we talked about at the very beginning of this video. If you get too aggressive where the line becomes blurred, you will be subject to that scrutiny, whether that's a federal agency, a state agency, a banker, an investor. Maybe you catch yourself in some moment in time where you say, I want to sell. Well, you think that investor is not going to look at your numbers and say, well, why are you worth what you're asking when there's no profits here? There's no money. You can't pay your debts, right? You barely have a business that's it's making money just to lose money, right, guys? So consider the long-term implications always when you're implementing a tax strategy with your advisor. Always weigh the immediate benefits of tax minimization against the potential long-term impacts of financing and growth opportunities. Strategic planning should align with your short-term and long-term goals, right? Let's not get blurred with today's, tiny dollars with tomorrow's humongous opportunities, because remember, we're in business for the long haul. We're not in this for a paycheck. We're in here to build something amazing, something awesome, something that's going to change, the trajectory of your entire, family for generations to come. And it's all part of this conversation that we're having today with tax planning. So listen, by adopting the best practices that you can, you're going to navigate, through the complexity of taxation. You're going to understand what minimization, actually means and how to effectively execute that so that you're happy with it, your lenders are happy with it, potential, investors are happy with it, and you'll never have to worry about, I'm putting stuff out there that, man, if it comes back to me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to respond to any of these things. So remember, the goal is to just build a sustainable, financial, robust future for your business. And of course, at the end of the day, it's about our families. I hope this video helps, and look out for the next video.